Hello everyone and welcome back to Springlock Lab Animatronics. Today I am showing my most recent animatronic progress, which is the body of a FNAF 1 Endo based off the game. And in the previous video, I showed its head, which was right here, with the eyes and jaw, along with its accurate look to the game one. And now I have the body right here. It did take a bit to make, as you can see its size. It's around 30 to 40 inches in height. And it had a lot of screws and servos and glue that needed to be to get it to its form right here. In a previous video, I showed an arm design. This is the same exact design, but miniaturized and a different arm design, but it's still the same base components. This will let the arms do advanced movements going in, out, and moving the arm like this. That will help it do better and more realistic animations of movement. And you can see here, this servo, it's just the start. There will also be this exact same servo where there's this and this, with this type of base here. And then on top of it will rest the head. And once it's like that, it can turn and look up. This will give it a realistic neck and design movement. There was a good time spent building this, as here, they have to be printed in multiple parts, as most of these parts, they barely fit in the build plate, like this one, and actually have to be shrunk slightly, and were very long printing times of over 10 hours each for each part. This here also had to be connected with this part, which had one failed attempt where it printed to about here, but failed. But it was repurposed as a stand for my hand animatronic right here. I was in the next attempt able to print it fully. As you can see, it's right here. There was pins on this one and small holes in this one. That allowed me to put the base on while applying hot glue, and was able to stick on well, and it's basically solid. Along with these two pieces for the body. One is here, and the second one's here, which had to be printed separately. And then they were glued together, and I used a hot glue gun to melt the plastic slightly, and that let it fuse into one solid piece. There was one problem here where when it had to be attached to here, the clearance space was pretty difficult to clear. So, to clear the space, I have to shove it in forcefully and use this hammer right here to hammer it in. But it was able to go in, and with the glue, it was able to stay solidly, so now it's one piece. There were also some complications here, where, as you can see, with the damage shown here and here, you can see it had to be carved out, as in all of these servo positions. It was slightly smaller than the servo, so they couldn't fit in, along with the extra wire width. So I did have to slowly carve it out with this knife. But after I did, it was able to fit, and now they're solidly in place with glue. And the arms weren't as bad to build. They were just a bit time-consuming with all the screws and assembly steps that have to be specific. But they are now together, and it can now do things like raise its arms, move them, and make gestures with this. In the future, I will print the hands along with other parts, like the shell. I'm making a model of Spring Body, his whole torso, arms, and head mask. I talked about this in the previous video where I said a mask would go on the Endo and how it was built where the pieces would slide on. I have a bit more modeling to make sure that it fits perfectly and I don't have to do any carving or reprinting or anything. But once it's done, they will slide on, as I want to make sure that this wasn't a permanent Endo shell. So there's these little holes and things here, like carve outs. So when the arm piece slides on, it will be able to stick and just stay there. And up here you can see these two holes where the torso will just be able to slide on, and that will make sure that it stays in one piece, along with being able to be taken off. And maybe I'm thinking to use the one you can see with Spring Bonnie if I put it right here, it fits snugly and it won't interact with the shell. So that means it will be able to have the animations seamlessly, and you won't be able to see the external hardware. It could also go in here somewhere or on the back of here. There could also be other designs. You could put like the other 4 animatronics, like Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, or Freddy, also on this skeleton. Though their models haven't been designed yet. But I could start with the Foxy, as I already have a head start with this one. The good thing is that this will be one of my most versatile endos yet. Again, with the most complex head design, my best arm design, swappable pieces, and more, which will unlock more possibilities for animations, making endoskeletons, and other things. In the next video, I will show some animations that I will make for this endo arm. And then after I'm done with this whole endo thing, spring body shell and all, I will start building other endoskeletons. Maybe you can tell me to build like the Funtime animatronics, more realistic bionic parts like bionic hands and better eyes. But other than that, that's the end of the video here. If you consider liking and subscribing, it would really help. Sharing it with others would also really help a lot and would help support this channel. Thank you and goodbye.